Increasingly, digital connectivity is touted as one of the key ingredients in spurring Africa's growth. So how can mobile for development stimulate and advance digital innovations? This is a conversation with Max Cuvellier, the head of mobile development at GSMA, for this and more.
So as you know, the GSMA is the trade association of the industry, so it's really sitting in the middle of the industry. And what we do at GSMA Mobile for Development is that we leverage this position to basically bring the industry on one side, the donors and the development community to work together on leveraging digital technology to address the challenges that are faced by economies, by societies, but also more generally by our planet. So it's a team of a little bit more than 100 experts. We've been active for 15 years, and basically the topics we tackle range from digital inclusion, financial inclusion, climate action, humanitarian action, agri-tech, for instance. And all the work that we do basically ranges from action, policy, and research. So on the action side, we do defund, de-risk innovations on the ground. So we've worked with 120 organizations now, mostly startups. You have 25 of them here at MWC Africa this week. And this is funded by our donors, in particular the UK, FCDO, and Swedish CEDA. On the policy side, we work with governments and regulators a lot. And then we do research on all our projects, but also with flagship reports like a report on mobile money, a report on gender, and a report on the state of mobile connectivity.
I mean, it's interesting you mentioned digital inclusion, because my second question is about that. What is the role that Mobile for Development plays in terms of advancing digital inclusion?
Yeah, so there's the role we play, but there's the role that our stakeholders and our partners play as well. So I mentioned research. I think the State of the Mobile Internet Connectivity report that we published last week is very important, so everybody understands what we're trying to address. So today the mobile operators have covered 95% of the world's population with mobile internet. But out of those 95%, there are still 45% who basically do not use mobile internet. And if you look at these numbers for Africa specifically, so in Africa, 83% of the population has been covered. But out of those 83%, only 22% of the population is using mobile internet. So that's what we're trying to address, basically. We've done research on the barriers, the reason why they are not accessing, and we have documented them quite well. So there's digital skills, there's access to handsets. The handset affordability is a big issue as well. There's also the feeling of safety and security. So beyond the research, what we then do is work with our mobile operator partners to help them basically unlock this usage. And reduce the usage gap. So for instance, on digital skills, I think is a good example. We've built what we call MIST, which is a basic digital skills toolkit funded again by FCDO and CEDA, which we've now translated into, I think, more than 12 languages, including Swahili and Kinyarwanda. And basically then it's our partners who use it to basically provide basic digital skills to their new users. In particular, MTN has rolled it out now to 8 countries in Africa, close to, I think, 30 million people. So that's one thing. And I think the other thing I'd like to mention is that all these barriers that I mentioned affect women disproportionately. So we have a team working specifically on gender, and we're working today with 40 mobile operators across Africa and emerging Asia, helping them identify what their gender gap is, because there's a gender gap in mobile access, handset access, but also mobile internet use. Then set targets and then work with them to design plans. And so far this work in the past 7 years has helped basically bridge the gap by 55 million women.
Right, and Max, last question, what is Mobile for Development's participation here at MWC Africa?
Yeah, so this is our biggest event, because about 2/3 of the work that we do is in Africa, and most of our stakeholders are here. So we're very happy to be here. We have a Mobile for Development theater over the 3 days with nice sessions that will cover digital inclusion, financial inclusion, humanitarian, climate action. We also have, I mentioned, 25 of the startups that we work with that are at a pod, but also on the Better Future stage. And then there's everything that's happening behind the scene, basically, like closed door roundtables, for instance, to try and progress climate finance in Africa, and all the one-on-ones. So yeah, we're very excited to be here.